right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A little cooler tomorrow, but still not fall-like. I'll tell you if we'll see any of fall this week and the warm-up that I have in the 7-day forecast.
Remembering a fallen St. Louis police officer.
David's life was filled with purpose.
Today, hundreds gathered for the funeral service for Officer David Lee, the massive showing of support to honor his life and family.
It's just been really hard. We just celebrate the people that's willing to do some things that we're not willing to do.
Tonight, St. Louis Police Officer David Lee is laid to rest. Good evening, I'm Robert Townsend. Hours ago, the funeral service was held for the longtime St. Louis police officer. Annie Krall joins us in studio after hearing from family and friends about what they'll miss most about this hero, Annie.
Robert, Saturday's funeral procession made its way through St. Louis today as the community and fellow police officers paid their respects to Officer Lee, being laid to rest this afternoon. His family and friends speaking at the funeral about the quiet leader tragically lost in the line of duty.
You know I see God's face if you could only see me now.
David Lee, the St. Louis police officer who died in the line of duty last month, laid to rest Saturday. He was hit by a car and killed on September 22nd while placing flares at the scene of a crash on Interstate 70.
Lord God, we suffered a great loss. Not that you don't know, but we just want to acknowledge the fact that we suffered somebody. Someone that was full of love and compassion.
Of the thousands of traffic violators he stopped over the years, not one of them called to say that David was rude or inconsiderate during his interactions with them. That really says something about David's character as a police officer.
Before his 18 years on the force, he was protecting his little sister, Danielle Lee, during her first day of kindergarten.
When it was time to go home, I got lost in the midst of the DSEG program. Hundreds of little kids running around trying to find a bus that all looked the same. At that very moment, I was gonna freak out and be extra, but I heard a voice. Mama was gonna get me if I lost you, and she definitely was. She definitely was gonna get him. But he was there, always looking out for me.
A city and state now looking out for Lee's family with his wife and 2 children by showing up every day since his death.
Don't just show up for the good times, but show up for the people in their darkest times. David did that for me my entire life. And to see the outpouring of love and support these last couple weeks shows me he did the same for you all. And that right there makes me the proudest little sister ever.
These were some of the final words Danielle had for the brother she lost too soon.
David, just like the first day of big school, you prepared me well. I'm gonna miss you, I'm gonna love you. Good job, big brother. Thank you.
As you just heard, Danielle Lee, like many, says her brother has prepared her for life without his presence, instead being helped by his spirit as an angel. Robert?
Powerful and emotional stories. Annie, thank you. Today, the St. Louis community came out to pay its respects to the fallen police officer. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay continues our coverage from North St. Louis.
We celebrate him because he was willing to go out there and do things that we weren't willing to do.
A procession down MLK Drive, honoring a first responder who paid the ultimate price.
Just the type of officer you want out there representing the police department and he cared about the community.
A proud St. Louis police officer, husband, and father, Officer David Lee was remembered by all.
I mean, when you think of just a good, hard-working police officer, that was him. I mean, he was that way.
Hundreds of officers lining the sidewalk outside of Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church, saluting a man they once stood side by side with.
These guys are working really hard, and to lose a fellow officer, and have to come back in to continue to work. It's just been really hard.
The tragedy of Officer Lee's death reminding everyone the difficulties that come with wearing the badge.
These folks are putting their lives on the line on a daily basis to keep us safe.
It's that reason that many who didn't even know Officer Lee came Saturday to pay their respects.
I just pray for his wife and his entire family. And I just love her sharing him with our community.
As the city of St. Louis laid this fallen hero to rest.
When you're calling 911 and you're going the other way, they're going to the problem. So we need to support our first responders.
One final call to Officer David Lee. As his community vows to never forget him.
7954, Officer David Lee. Your sacrifice with all your female members. And the launch September 22nd, 2024. May you never be forgotten. We have to watch from here.
Several members of the Board of Aldermen presented Officer Lee's family with a resolution recognizing his life and the sacrifice he made. Backstoppers will continue to help support Officer Lee's family during this time. If you'd like to learn more about how to donate, you can head to our website, KSDK.com. In North St. Louis, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
In a little more than 3 weeks, the man accused of killing Officer Lee will appear in court. Ramon Chavez Rodriguez is charged with driving while intoxicated, speeding, and more. This week, his attorney told the judge he would not request bond because of immigration holds. Rodriguez is not in the country legally. His next court appearance is set for October 30th at 10 a.m. Now, you can find more coverage of Officer Lee's funeral right now on KSDK.com, the 5 on Your Side app, or on 5+. Tonight, new reaction to an apparent racist demonstration over Interstate 64. Just hours ago, a group of people holding flags bearing swastikas were seen at the Mason Road overpass. Multiple viewers reached out to 5 on Your Side, condemning the hateful symbols. Town and Country Police monitored the demonstration to ensure safety. The Anti-Defamation League's regional director tells us it's something he's never seen before.
When you see something like this, it's important to denounce it as the awful hatred that it is. Just because our Constitution protects vile speech doesn't mean that we don't all have an obligation to stand up and say that this is wrong and not welcome in our community.
St. Louis County NAACP also weighing in tonight. The organization is concerned about the impact situations like this can have on future generations.
It's not the way we should be moving forward for a future pathway that's going to bring harmony and the type of humanistic behavior that this country should be performing under.
Today's demonstration comes after the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and just 2 days from the 1-year anniversary of the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel. The Missouri House will soon launch a committee to address the impact of nuclear weapons around St. Louis. State Representative Tricia Burns says the bipartisan committee will investigate needs and develop solutions for people who've gotten sick in our area. Now, the committee includes representatives from the St. Louis area.
Helene's death toll rises as more relief rolls in.
It's going to take a lot of effort, and it's a very heartbreaking situation.
The conflicting messages from presidential hopefuls as they visit the hardest hit areas. Lending a hand in the recovery, how to make sure your donation is going to the right cause.
Quiet here at home, so we are tracking the tropics tonight. I'll tell you where Milton is headed.
Well, tonight the Grove neighborhood is lit up with live music, lots of bubble parties, and get this, even a pizza eating contest. Grove Fest features more than 100 vendors, all crammed onto Manchester Avenue. Of course, that's in South St. Louis. Now, the vendors include food trucks, local artists, restaurants, and a lot more. The event attracts more than 50,000 people to the neighborhood every year.
It brings up like more positive conversations. I mean, there's so many things going on in the world, and so to come to a place where it's just nothing but positivity, it's just something outside of the norm, which is a breath of fresh air.
To still check out the Grove Fest event. It runs until 11 o'clock tonight. Tonight, tons of people turned out at the new Clark Family Branch fundraising gala. 5 Year Side is the exclusive media partner for the event, and today in St. Louis, anchor Rennie Knott was the master of ceremonies. Their library patrons could help the organization carry out its goal to have social workers available at all 20 library branch locations.
What a great event there. And we raised about $31,000 at Moeta tonight at the zoo, the Missouri Eating Disorders Association. You walk outside, you're going to be surprised at how warm it is. I'm going over our summer-like temperatures.
Tonight, Helen is now the deadliest hurricane to hit the United States since Katrina in 2005. The number of dead rising to 227 tonight, with more than just 100 of those in North Carolina alone. Tonight, thousands more are still without power, more than a week since Helen hit the region. Earlier today, the Biden administration announced $100 million in emergency relief funding to pay for roads and bridges damaged by that storm. Vice President Kamala Harris also spent her day in North Carolina. She remarked how the country is stepping up to help those in need.
These moments of crisis bring out some of the best of who we can be and who we are. I've been seeing and hearing the stories from here in North Carolina about strangers who are helping each other out, giving people assistance in every way that they need.
Yesterday, former President Trump visited Georgia and accused the Biden administration of taking hurricane relief funds and giving them to undocumented immigrants. Now, that claim is false. Tonight, Missouri Task Force 1 is still deployed in North Carolina. For the past week, crews have conducted targeted searches by land, air, water, and canine. The task force says its members continue to remain positive during their challenging mission. Well, scammers often prey on vulnerable people who need help after a hurricane. Verify's Ariana Daytel has tips on how to avoid falling victim to a scam in the wake of Hurricane Helen.
Scammers pose as government officials, insurance agencies, contractors, and charities to target people in need of help after a hurricane. They use fraudulent calls, texts, emails, and social media posts to prey on people in need of help. Using these sources, we'll share verified tips on how to spot a scam during hurricane season. If you get a call claiming to be an official from a government agency or somebody asking about an insurance claim or policy, hang up and call the number listed on that government agency's official website, or call your insurance agent. Government agencies will not call you. The FCC says you should never reveal any personal information unless you've confirmed you're dealing with a legitimate person or agency. If you're fixing damage to your property, verify that any contractor you're considering is licensed and carries adequate insurance. Never give insurance or other personal information out to companies with whom you have not entered into a contract. Many people wanting to help victims of a storm can also get caught up in scams. If you receive a suspicious email or text message requesting donations or other assistance, do not click on any links or open any attachments. Scammers can use those links to steal your personal information. Only donate to trusted, well-known charities, and always verify a charity's legitimacy through its official website. Tripwire says you should avoid cash donations or wire transfers because they're harder to trace and recover if fraud occurs. If you have any doubts on whether a charity is legit, the FCC says you can check with the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance, Charity Navigator, and GuideStar. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Have something you'd like us to verify? Just send an email to verify@ksdk.com. Well, right now, Florida is on alert ahead of another storm heading its way. Tropical storm Milton is expected to strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane and bring life-threatening rain and winds to the state's west coast. Up to 6 inches of rain are forecast through Thursday in some areas. Now, Milton formed just 10 days after Helen made landfall on the Gulf Coast. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency ahead of the storm. Well, here in the bi-state area today, we saw an unusually warm Summer-like day. Meteorologist Tracy Henson is in for Gary tonight. Hey, Tracy.
Hey, normally we talk about local weather, but really we didn't really have any. It was just warm, sunny, a little bit of a breeze. So let's talk about Tropical Storm Milton right now, expected to strengthen into a hurricane. Winds are currently at about 45 miles an hour. Nothing really to write home about. Pressure is still rather high as well right now. We do expect that to lower. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. That's when we start to get that eye wall development within the storm. This is expected to make landfall, like you said, in the Tampa area as a Category 3 storm. Move across that slim portion of Florida before turning into a post-tropical depression. Pretty strong storm here. We have record temperatures right now in the Gulf of Mexico. One of the reasons these storms have been so strong this year. So we had a soccer game downtown today. Busy night downtown. Beautiful view out there. It is quite warm. The winds did settle down nicely though. It is 10:19 at night. And look at these temperatures. 73 in Chesterfield, 73 in Sullivan, 70 for Scott Air Force Base. Tomorrow, we will see lighter winds with gusts up to around 20 miles per hour. Temperatures are going to be in the low 80s. That makes us fall lovers. You know who you are out there. I'm one of them. A little happier. 80s in October, not great, but still a little better than the close to 90 degrees we had today. Let's spend a little time here on our 7-day forecast. So we will be breezy tomorrow with gusts up to around 20 miles per hour at times. We're going to see a shift in the wind direction. After that wind direction changes, we'll be a little bit calmer. Then for Monday, we're looking at 74 degrees. We're going to be at 75 on Tuesday and 77 on Wednesday. Couple of nights here. So our overnight temperatures as well as our daytime highs, this is mostly for the St. Louis area. But if you live a little further outside town, and I'm not talking too far, about 40 to 50 minutes, your temperatures will likely be a little bit cooler, especially those overnight lows. So 49, 48 degrees, that's for the city, that urban heat island effect. You live a little further outside of town, we're talking the low, crisp, low 40s there, even the upper 30s in a few different spots. So we're starting to really dip into those fall-like temperatures. It really won't last though, because yeah, no, it's no mistake. I have 80s in the forecast again here for Friday and Saturday. 84 degrees on Friday, 83 on Saturday.
Yeah, summer just won't let us go.
It won't let us go, and I'm just hoping we have some, even if it's in November, I want a little bit of fall. I don't want us just to go right from this to, you know, minus 20.
Right.
That would not be good.
I know. Tracy, thanks a lot. Corey, what's going on in sports?
Well, there was enough going on in the sports world today that you could sit down on your couch for about 12 hours and always have something interesting to watch.
You know people did.
I know. It was a depressive morning for Mizzou, but an ecstatic night for City SC. We'll talk about all of it after the break.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The sophomore season for City SC left much to be desired. Nobody's happy about missing the playoffs. This team we've seen since the transfer window is different though. They're building for next year. Tonight they tried to end this year at City Park on a high note. The fans were fired up for this year's swan song at City Park against Houston. Let's go to the 14th minute. The dynamic Cedric Teuchert is going to tap it to Simon Betcher, who does the rest. 1-0 City right off the bat. 47th minute now, Betcher's going to be on a breakaway, and he's going to chip this one in as well. The former Billiken finishing his home season with a brace, 2 goals. And for good measure, here comes a great save from Roman Berkey in net down the stretch as he and his team get the clean sheet. City wins 3-0 to send the St. Louis crowd home happy in 2024.
You know, winning's fun, so you have to have a fun locker room celebrating it. And Joanne and Carolyn came down, and you know, moments like this in the crowd, last game of the season where we're able to get a 3-0 victory and a shutout. It's a great night for all of us, great night for our community.
Blues facing the Blackhawks in their preseason finale. This game was played in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Blues took the Young Guns on the road for this one. Rough night on the scoreboard, but this was a fun moment. Top prospect Dalibor Dvorsky showing off his insane hands on this goal. Check this out. He'll be in STL before we know it, folks. However, the Blues dropped the preseason finale to Chicago 6-2. Coming into this year, we circled 3 games on the Mizzou football schedule: Texas A&M, Alabama, and Oklahoma. If you found a way to win 2 of those 3 and then took care of business elsewhere, you're likely in the playoff. The Tigers looked about as far away as they could from being a playoff caliber team this morning in College Station. 100,000 screaming Texas A&M fans welcome Mizzou to Kyle Field for a rude awakening. Tigers driving on their first possession. Looks like they had a pass interference call on 4th down, but the refs pick up the flag. Drinkwitz is livid. Then down 10, looks like Luther Burton has a 75-yard touchdown, but that's called back due to a penalty, and it got really ugly from there. 24-0 Aggies at the half. Here's the very first play of the second half. Le'Veon Moss, 75 yards to the house. He had 138 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns today as A&M gashed Mizzou for 512 total yards. Yeah, I feel you, guy. Tigers got a touchdown from Brady Cook to Theo Wease, but by then it didn't matter. Texas A&M destroys the 9th-ranked Tigers 41-10.
You got 1 or 2 choices. You know, you can fall apart or you can dig deep and find resolve to get better. The season really starts today, and how we respond will determine what kind of football season we're going to have. And it's a tough loss because you're embarrassed by the performance. I'm embarrassed by the performance, but it's just that. It's one game, and there's a whole heck of a lot of football left, and it's going to be up to us to either seek comfort in placing blame or have resolve to get it fixed.
The upset of the day in college football came in Nashville, though. The Vanderbilt Commodores had not beaten Alabama since 1984. They had never beaten a #1 team in the country. Not anymore. Vandy pulls off an insane upset of the Crimson Tide with a 40-35 victory. They tore down a goalpost, paraded it down Broadway in Nashville before dumping it in the Cumberland River. Gotta love college football. Hey, great high school football matchup today. 4-1 Luther North against 4-1 MICDS. Low-scoring battle early on. Rams get on the board thanks to their dynamic kicker, Malik Orson, 3-0 MICDS. Then it's Peyton Simon and Lucas Starks getting the sack for the Rams on the defensive side. Luther North showed up on special teams, though. Mike Hall blocks the punt, and he's going to take it all the way back to the house. Luther North wins it 28-13, and that will do it for sports.
Good for them. We're still, so many of us in our newsroom, you know, we wanted that Mizzou team.
It's a long season. Bad day, long season. That's what I'm trying to tell myself.
I don't watch football, but 41-10 wasn't horrible. It could have been much worse,
Could have
right?
been much worse.
Okay, we'll take it.
I don't know. It could have been really bad.
The season's just beginning. Well, that's all of our time for 5 Your Side at 10. Saturday Night Live is coming your way next. Enjoy your evening, everyone.